Is my zipper up?
Yes. It just went live when you said that. Hopefully nobody heard that.
We're happy people, folks.
Oh my goddess. Here we are today, ladies and gentlemen, with the fabulous, with the amazing, with the wonderful, with the handsome, with the brilliant Dr. Bruce Lipton.
Yay! Bruce is in the house. All right.
Brucey is in the house. Okay, let's see if anybody's out there. Okay, if you're here and you're hanging with us, come and drop a comment in the comment area so we know that you're here and you're alive this morning and feeling fabulous. Tell us how you're feeling. Everybody tell us how fabulous you're feeling on this gorgeous, amazing Monday morning. And for those of you who don't know who I am, very quickly, my name is Liz Dawn. I am the producer of all Celebrate Your Life events, which are amazing and wonderful. And if you haven't been to one, we're going to tell you about one later on in this conversation. So there we are. There's Ginger and Emma and Rachel and Lupita and Vincy. All right. Good morning, everyone. I feel like Romper Room, right, Bruce?
Well, we have to start our lives all over again because the way they've been running is probably time for a reset.
Yes. I love this idea. Who's in favor of like a reset? I am.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
it's perfect timing.
The planet is edging toward a major reset at this moment.
And that's wonderful because there are people like us who can light the way, light the pathway, people like you who can guide people and teach people on how to go about doing that because we know all the other stuff, right?
Well, all I can tell you is it came in as a bunch of ideas. Then I put them into practice and then my life turned around. It's like, I love my life now.
Okay, tell us. So I want to know, here we go. I'm just going to jump in there, right? So what is the secret to you loving your life? How many of you want to know that? Give me a big yes or an amen. We want to know the secret to Bruce loving his life.
Well, the first thing is this. As a scientist, I saw the science of how we are creating our life. And I also connected it with the concept of quantum physics, which as soon as you say that, everybody glazes over. Quantum physics, Well, quantum physics is the most valid science on the planet. There's no science with more truth in it. And why I'm bringing that up at this moment is very simple, because the first principle of quantum physics is we are creating our life experiences. We are, through our consciousness, we are creating our life experience. So basically, it says physics is you're creating this, and therefore then there's good time for a question is, are you happy with your creation? Is it working out for you? Are you manifesting heaven on earth? Or is life a work a day, struggle a day, be afraid a day kind of thing? And the issue about that is very clear, is we're creating it. Whether you like it or you don't like it, we're creating it. And I go, well, wait a minute. I wouldn't create this mess that's out here today. And I go, the point is this. Consciousness is creating our life experience. That takes us to the point of where's consciousness coming from. Then I go, oh, the mind is the creator of consciousness. And then when you say the mind, it implies there's this single mind in our head, a single mind.
Mm-hmm,
and I go, that is the biggest mistake in the world, because there are two minds. They work together interdependently, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know this difference between the two minds, then that's why your life might be struggling or not the heaven on earth you're seeking. Okay, so we're going to have to list the two minds right now so you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
We'll start with the latest evolution of the mind, and that's right behind your forehead is a piece of brain tissue, a lobe that sticks out. And I go, that's the seat of what is called the conscious mind. Now, let's define the other one, then I'll distinguish what the difference is. So the conscious mind is about 10 or 15% of the brain mass right up here in the front. The rest of the brain mass, 85, 90% of the brain, all back here, is called the subconscious mind. Now, sub means below, okay? So we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind.
Okay.
Now I say, now let's look at the difference in function. Conscious mind is the creative mind. That's the one with imagination and the ability to think and create a life. And so, if I ask any one of you right now, tell me what you want, the answer will come from the creative mind. Okay, wishes, desires, aspirations, what you want. Okay,
Right.
and I say, well, now what about the other mind, subconscious mind? I go, well, that is essentially the habit mind. I go, well, what's important? I say, habits are not thinking. Habits are just programs. Push a button, boom, the behavior. Push a button, boom. Every time you push it, it's behavior. Is it creative? No. It's a program. Okay. So I go, okay. So, of course, quantum physics, consciousness is creating my life experience. And of course, we would like to operate from our conscious mind versus subconscious because that's the one with the wishes and desires. I go, that's exactly true. Now, well, if that's the mind, then how come most of us are not manifesting heaven on earth every day? I go, you really want to know the answer to that one? Well, I'll tell you because it really bugged me for a while until I
So,
figured it
so
out.
I'm gonna take a step back just for a
Yeah,
second because I want all of us to really, really understand this, okay? And if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments, and we'll get to those questions in a second. So you're saying that the conscious mind is the one. I just want to repeat this to make sure that I get it.
yeah.
So the conscious mind is the thinking, is the one that we create. We say, I want this and I want to do this. But then the subconscious mind is the one that is like working on automatic pilot, the habits, the fears,
Yeah, but you have to
right?
remember it's a habit, which is different than a creative. Whatever the habit is, that's a program. When you play that program, there's no creativity to it. You're going to repeat that program. Every time you push the button, you're going to repeat that program again. So the most important thing is creativity versus repetition habit. That's the two things. Okay. So, of course, it's the conscious mind that has your wishes and desires in it. And
Right.
then I say, well, if that's the mind that you should be operating from, then how come your life doesn't manifest all your wishes and desires? And here comes the problem right here in the box. And the problem is this: the conscious mind can do two things. I go, what's one of them? I say, be creative, have imagination. That's the thing we described. That's the one that has wishes and desires. I say, well, what else can the conscious mind do? And I go, think. I go, well, think. What does that mean? I go, thinking is going into your mind looking for an answer of some kind. So, what today is Monday. So, I asked my dear friend Liz, I say, Liz, tell me what you're doing on Wednesday. And I know it's not in front of her at this moment, but I bet you in a moment she will tell me what she's doing on Wednesday. She doesn't have to, but I know that she can tell
I've
me.
got meetings, I've got this, right?
Is that written down? Where'd you find that answer?
I found that in my mind after I know that. I'm looking at my calendar in my mind.
In your mind, you're looking inside,
Right.
right?
Right.
Aha!
Like my eyes go up to see it. Right.
Aha! You were
Okay.
looking inside because
Right.
the answer was not outside, it was inside. And I go, well, wait a minute. Quick analogy. The body is a vehicle. It is a vehicle, okay? But pretend it has a steering wheel, okay? And I say we're driving toward what? Conscious mind driving wishes and desires. I'm going to where I want to go. And then I go, but what if the conscious mind starts thinking? I go, well, what does that mean? I go, well, when I'm driving the vehicle, I'm looking out at the road, looking at the world, and I'm moving where I want to go. But when I'm thinking, and this is what we tried to demonstrate a second ago, you're not looking out at the world with your conscious mind. The conscious mind is now turned around and is looking inside. What am I doing on Wednesday? Image, give me an image. What am I doing? I go, well, guess what? The moment you started thinking, you're no longer looking outside. I go, so what does that mean? I said, well, then you're not in control of what's happening outside. Well, wait, let's big one. You're driving the car and then
So,
you
so,
start
so wait a
thinking.
second. So you're saying that I went into my subconscious mind to find out what I was doing on Wednesday, or
Absolutely, because that's where
okay,
the calendar, so to speak, is inside. It's inside your subconscious mind. Your conscious
okay,
mind, being creative, said, "Let me look at the calendar," and the subconscious mind's got the curriculum, the program, everything's in there. You went inside and said, "Oh yeah, Wednesday I got to make these calls." Blah 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 blah. I
uh-huh.
go, But the moment you went inside to think, remember you were driving the vehicle and you were looking out the window to go where you want to go. But the moment you're thinking is like, you're not looking out anymore. You're inside. I go, well, then who the hell is driving the car? Because you've done this before. You've been in the car, you're going to point A and you're on the way, you're thinking, and then all of a sudden you look out the window and realize, oh my goodness, I just traveled 5 minutes without even paying attention to the road. And I go, yep, and you're still
So
here.
cool. This
And I
is
say,
so
how are
cool.
you still here? Because who the heck is driving the car? Because your conscious mind was not driving the car, it was thinking. And here comes the problem of the world.
All right. Here
Problem
it
of
is,
the world.
people.
The problem of the world is this. When we are thinking, the subconscious mind is called autopilot. It takes over. Well, look, it knows how to drive the car. That's a program. You learned that. It knows how to walk. You learned that before you were 2. And I go, what's interesting? I say, oh, I'm going to go to the other side of the road. I need something over there. I don't have to go, okay, now left foot, right foot, left foot. Let's walk over there. I don't have to do any of that. Why? The intention of going over there, subconscious mind says, oh, walking, it has a program. It knows how to do it. It never asks you to look at your feet and see where you're going. So when the program is playing, it takes over behavior. And I say, yes, that's an absolute true. And most of the things that we do in life are habits: how you get dressed, how you talk, how you go through the world, where you're going, your job, all these things are habits. And I go, yeah, great. Now here's the problem. When you are thinking and the autopilot steps in and starts to drive your car, talk to the person you were talking with, well, all of a sudden your mind wandered and now you're still talking. It knows how to talk. Okay. Here's the problem. When you were thinking, this is it. You ready? You are not observing the behavior that is coming from the subconscious mind that has taken over the control as autopilot. You're the only one who can't see it. Why? Well, if you're thinking, you're looking inside and the program is playing outside. I say, well, how can you see what's outside when you're not looking outside? I go, aha. That's
Okay, wait, I'm getting a little lost.
okay, get it, straighten this out right here, Liz. Come on, babe.
Okay. So is anybody else getting a little lost on this?
Let's don't get lost.
So Rachel Marie says, when you are thinking and autopilot kicks in, you are not observing the behavior that is coming from the conscious mind.
Subconscious mind, yeah.
Subconscious.
So you're not observing the behavior from the autopilot.
You're not observing the behavior from the autopilot because but is it good then to think with the conscious mind?
Well, the only way you're going to think is with the conscious mind.
Okay, but is it better to stay? So here's my question: is it because I'm going to have to listen to this again. This video is going to be posted, so you can all re-listen to this.
Let's get it straight.
I know. I mean, I really want to, because I kind of like. All right. So some people got it, some people didn't. Nope. Yep. Clear. Okay. Good.
Okay. Look, you're creating this life. I say, but you have 2 choices of creation.
Okay.
You can use the conscious mind, which has all the imagination and desires and wishes, which is, that would be cool. Okay. Or you can just let it run on automatic programs. And I say, but when you're letting it run on a program, the reason the program is running is, by definition, it's the default. You were thinking with the conscious mind. It's not looking out at the world when you're thinking. Thinking went inside. So whatever was going on in the outer world, whether you were driving the car, walking or talking or doing your job, the program in the subconscious took over the control. Okay.
So no new information and no new experiences come in if you're living your life from the subconscious mind, correct?
Yeah, because that's a program. And so you've been programmed to do a lot of everything you've practiced in your life and repeated becomes a habit. I can walk, I can talk, I can drive the car, I can play a musical instrument, I could ride the bicycle. Why? I practiced all those things, and through practice, they became programs. Okay. Now, so the important part is, A, when you are thinking, with the conscious mind, that's the thinking one.
And the creative one. That's what I love.
And the creative one, but it's
Right.
thinking or creative. It's not doing both at the same time, essentially, in a sense
Okay.
of control. It's not controlling your creativity when you are thinking because it's offline. It's
Okay. Okay.
inside.
Okay.
Okay. And then I say, but then the behavior that's coming out is coming from the previously downloaded programs in your life. And then I say very clearly, okay, Liz and I are in the car and we're having a great discussion. We're going back and forth, conscious mind, subconscious mind, blah, 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 blah. And I'm having a great time and I'm driving the car and I'm talking to
Oh, I
Liz,
thought I
blah,
was
blah, blah.
driving. I would be a better driver. I think
And,
I'm a better
and then
driver.
at some point, I look out the window and go, I don't want to tell Liz because it'll freak her out. But if I did, I would say, hey, Liz, guess what? I've been driving the car for the last 10 minutes. I haven't even looked at the road. What do you think? No, I'm not going to tell her that. I'm not going to tell her that. But the simple reality, it dawns on me, oh my God, I haven't paid attention. Now I ask two questions, and these are the two vital questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Liz, what were we talking about? Oh, I can tell you what we're talking about. I was driving a car, but I can tell you because I was in conversation. We talked about this and this and this. And then you ask me, what was on the road while you and Liz were having this conversation? And the truth is, I have no idea what was on the road. Why? I wasn't paying attention to the road. I was paying attention to the conversation. I guess, so why is it important? Well, the car was obviously being driven. I wasn't in charge. I'm over here engaged in conversation. The subconscious drove the car. It's a program. It knows how to do that. But what was on the road? I have no conscious awareness of. Why?
Can't you be in both places? Can't you
No,
be consciously aware of what's on the road and also be consciously connected to the conversation?
no. When you redirect your consciousness and focus on something, that's where the consciousness is focusing on that. Okay.
Yes,
And
but
whatever
don't
it's
women have
focusing
the
on, it's
ability?
aware of.
Wait
It's
a
a,
second. Wait a second. Don't women have the ability to multitask? And you
yeah.
don't.
But the idea
I
is
mean, really, because I know that I
you can
can do.
multitask because the things that you know that you need to do are already programs in the first place. I can do 5 tasks at the same time. Why? I don't have to think about them.
Yeah, it's
They're
true.
automatic. They're programs. I don't have, there's no thinking in a program. It just plays. Do you know how to wash the dishes, Bruce? Yeah. Do you have to think about it? Nope. Why? Put my hands in the water, wash the dishes, and think about what I'm doing later. And I go, well, wait. Then when you were washing the dishes and you were thinking, did you see all the dishes? I go, not consciously. It was a program. Okay. Let's get to the serious part here, folks.
Okay.
The serious part is this: 95% of the day, science has recognized as the amount of time we use our conscious mind in thinking. Now, stop. I say, what does that mean? Well, if I'm thinking 95% of the day, then what's controlling my behavior 95% of the day? And I go, not the conscious mind, it's busy thinking.
Right.
I said, no, oh, my life is being controlled by these programs. I go, yeah, yep.
Oh,
And
wow.
now I go, so what does that mean? I go, well, if the program's a good program, fine. I don't have to worry about it because I'm going to create really a positive result from this program. But what if I have a negative program? What if I have a disempowering program or a self-sabotaging program? I go, well, I wouldn't see it. I go, ha ha. You won't even see your own self-sabotaging behavior. I say, why not? Because your vision of conscious mind is inside. It's not looking out. But everybody else can see your behavior. You're the one that can't see it. And that's why for 40 years, Liz, and you've heard me because I've been a Celebrate Your Life for a number of times and gave the same story. So I'm going to do it again and again. And that is this: you have a friend, you know your friend's behavior, and you know your friend's parent. And one day you see your friend has the same behavior as their parent. This excites you. You want to tell your friend, you go, hey, Bill, you're just like your dad. Back away from Bill because I'm going to tell you the answer and you already know what he said. Bill's going to say to that response, how can you compare me to my dad? I'm nothing like my dad. Everybody else can see that Bill's behavior is like his dad. Who's the one that can't see it? Bill. Why? Why is he playing the behavior? Because he's not paying attention. He's thinking. And that behavior that he downloaded from his father is playing. And he's the only one that can't see it. Oh, that's why Bill says, how can you compare me to my dad? And now I go, aha, you ready? Thank you, Liz. Here we go. We are all Bill.
Yeah.
Every one of us, whether you want to admit to it or not, I don't care if you admit to it or not. It's a science. Every one of us is playing programs 95% of the day. And because we're playing the programs, it really means that we're not paying attention. And so, whatever the program is manifesting, is it good or bad? I go, well, what the heck is the program? If it's a bad program, your life is going to unfortunately become aware to you that it's not working right. And you're going to look out at the world. This is the problem right here. I just made some bad behavior. And people out there are responding because they listen to me create the behavior. And then their behavior back to me is negative. Okay. Because of what I sent out a negative program, I receive a negative response. I go, okay. But here's the problem. I didn't see I sent out the negative program. What do I see? The negative response. And I go, and what does that mean? Stop right there. I said, what does that mean? It says, oh, I'm a victim. And those people are creating a negative world for me. They did it, she did it, he did it. And all of a sudden, you're blaming reasons on other things why your life isn't the heaven on earth. I go, no, no, Bill. It's because your programs, and this is a set fact of science, 60% minimum or more of the programs you download in the subconscious are limiting, self sabotaging, and disempowering programs. I go, where the heck did I get these programs? Oh, point. The brain is a computer. Not like a computer, folks. Not like it. It is a computer. And everything in your laptop computer also functions the same in your brain computer. I go, what? Old days, go to the store, buy a brand new computer, get so excited, pay thousands of dollars, and you go home and you push start, and the screen lights up. It's called booted. It's booted up, brand new computer. And I go, now do something. And you go, I can't. I said, what do you mean? You got a brand new computer? I said, no, first I have to put programs into the computer so I can access the computer. Oh, so we download how to surf the web, how to write an article spreadsheet. We download all these things. Now my computer is useful. Now Bruce, types into the keyboard my desires and my wishes and whatever I want to make program. Okay. I go, so why is this so important? Because as a child, a fetus, in fact, your brain actually can boot up 3 months before you're born. I say, oh my God, the screen's lit. The fetus has got the brain, the screen's lit up. Now I say, what's the fetus need to do? Download behavior. I go, oh, okay. I say, so how does it do it? The brain operating function of a fetus and a child until age 7, fetus through age 7, the predominant brain activity of a child is called theta. That's when you put wires on a person's head and you can read their brain activity. It's called EEG, electroencephalograph. There are different vibrations. The thinking one, I hope we're all at thinking mode right now, is high vibration called beta. And then when you go home and you relax and you're getting ready to chill out for the evening, the vibration slows down. Now it's called alpha, calm consciousness versus active consciousness. And now we're slowing down and we get ready to go to bed and we're really getting real ready to slow it down again. Guess what? The moment you start to fall asleep, the vibration drops into the next one called theta. Well, theta is the low vibration that the child is operating from for the first 7 years. It doesn't go into alpha and to the higher one until around age 7. So I go, okay, so, we're operating from theta for 7 years, essentially. And I go, so what is theta? Functionally, theta is imagination. And that's why children under 7 operating from theta can take the real world and the imaginary world and put them together.
Right.
I was at Liz Dawn's tea party, and it was really great because she would pour nothing into a cup that was not there. And then I would drink the nothing. And then I would exclaim, that was the best tea I ever had, Liz. Thank you very much.
I
I go,
know.
and I go, what was that? I said, that was imagination manifesting itself with reality. I imagined tea, and then that was really great. Okay. Theta is imagination in its expression, but in its function, theta is hypnosis. I go, it's in hypnosis. Why? Because I have to download programs to become a member of a family and to become a member of a community. I say, you have to have programs. You bet there are rules to be a member in a family and there are rules to be a member in a community. And I go, yeah. And how do I learn the rules? I'm a kid. I'm an infant. I'm in diapers. What the hell do I know? I go, the brain, even it started in utero, is in theta, record, hypnosis. Whatever your life experiences are, whatever you observe, you download those. And those are how you got your programs. Just like you downloaded how to surf the web or you downloaded how to make a spreadsheet. You download behavior. And I go, why? Well, because a child has to become a member of a family and a child has to become a member of a community. And there are thousands of rules, you know? Generally, when you're at the concert, you just don't sit there in the seat and then all of a sudden take your clothes off and enjoy it. Even though some people did that, the point is there are rules.
That's called Woodstock. Okay.
There are rules of what you should do and you shouldn't do. And I go, but a child has to learn these very quickly because they have to participate right away, family and community. And I said, well, then how do they learn the rules? They're not going to school. They're not reading a book. They're not downloading lessons. I say, well, then how are they learning the rules? I go, theta. They're in hypnosis. They observe and they watch. In my case, let's say I watch my father to see how do boys grow up and become fathers? What behavior do fathers have? I look at my mother and I go, oh, what kind of person is a partner to my father? I look at that's a partner person. Oh, I need those rules too. And the idea about this, we just observe and we download these behaviors. Now, behaviors, you got no problem because if you have to automatically go into the program and play a good behavior, there's no problem because it's going to be good behavior. But what if you get a bad behavior? Oh, I can tell you, yes. Why? My father and mother had a very dysfunctional relationship. I go, so what? I go, but I downloaded my father's behavior. Was I downloading a good way to make behavior with a relationship? Absolutely
So
not.
it's important more than ever as people are bringing children into the world to have those
Huh.
to be super. Okay, you take it away now.
No, so the whole
Okay, but
idea.
before we do that, let me just do a real quick timeout because we've been
Yeah,
talking for 30 minutes. So hold that thought.
yeah.
Okay, don't go away. Hold that thought. So just very quickly, I just want to share with you that this is kind of a teaser for what we're going to be doing at a full 4-day retreat in the end of January with Dr. Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, Shamini Jain, and Anita Morjani. So we're kind of giving you a little bit of a taste of the kinds of conversations that will be happening at that retreat in Arizona, in Scottsdale, on January 26th through the 29th. And Tanya, if you could put the URL in the comments for everybody, and let me put it up on the screen. If this is the kind of conversation you love having, consider coming to join us because it's going to be an absolutely fantastic program. Hold on a second. Let me grab that URL really, really quickly. We're going to continue with the conversation. I just wanted to share that with all of you. Since I don't know about all of you, but I'm finding this conversation super fascinating. Okay, here it is. All right, there we go. I went ahead and put it on the screen, and then Tanya just put it there as well. Okay, so come join us end of January. It's going to be a fantastic retreat. All right, so now, and there's the URL everywhere.
This
Okay,
is the whole idea of what I'm leading up, why it's so important to go to this conference and stuff in regard to what I want to present. But as you also mentioned, there are great presenters along there. I mean, my dear brother Greg Braden, Anita Morjani, who I always refer to as the poster child for biology of belief because she had terminal cancer and was on the last day of her life and just changed her mind. and the
Just
cancer went
never
away.
mind.
And I
That was
go, that was
it.
not an accident. That was conscious programming. And I say, yeah, but we're only generally conscious programming 5% of the day, because that's 95% of the time that conscious mind is not controlling the vehicle. 95% of the day, it's hidden back here in the subconscious, thinking about, what am I doing? What's next? Where was I? Who did what to what? And blah, blah, blah. And you're always trying to figure things out. I go, but you're figuring things out by thinking, which means then you are not personally putting your hands on the wheel and driving toward wishes and desires, because when you're thinking, the conscious mind is not involved with control. That's the subconscious. And that's where, for example, when I had bad programming from my father of
Great. Let's go
relations,
back to the kid thing. I love
I
this.
downloaded his behavior my first 7 years of life. And then I tried to get a relationship for 40 plus years, and I had real trouble in doing it. I go, why? Because the moment I would start thinking, and my behavior then came from my father's programming, that would throw a monkey wrench into any relationship I had. And I go, why? I said, I didn't know why, because I was playing those programs, and like Bill, I didn't see what was going on. All I saw is the result. She's not there anymore. Where does this partner go? She's not a partner after I played those programs. And the idea was, so she saw the programs. Did I? No. All I saw was, she's not here. And I started
I
to
get it.
realize,
I get it. So Shayna has not really a question, but she wants to go us to, because we stopped the conversation at child development, and so let's go back to that, because I interrupted with the little
yeah.
commercial break. Sorry, guys. But let's go back to that. So parents, so people having babies and parents, that first 7 years. Let's talk about that. What is the best? And I'm just gonna let you take over. You know where we're going with
Yeah.
this.
So here's the point. The child is in record. The parents are programmers, whether they know it or not. The child is paying attention with the subconscious mind. Even that infant in your arms who is in those diapers and is a month old, let's say, and you go, oh, we can talk about the baby. It's not really here right now. And whatever you're saying is actually being downloaded, because the brain of that child is in record. Now, it may not understand exactly what's going on in its life right now, but now the recording is in there. When it does become aware, that recording then plays a very important role in the life of that child. Okay. The child is recording even before it's born. You know, a mother could play music and put the speaker near the abdominal wall. And if she repeats the same music, guess what? When the baby is born, you put that music on, the baby will immediately recognize and respond to the music. It learned the music while it was in utero. Okay. If the father talks through the abdominal wall to the fetus at this time and starts talking to it, when the baby is born and the father opens his mouth and says some words, the baby will immediately look and go, which one is the father? It remembers the voice from the abdominal wall. So it's like, oh, yeah, it was already programming even before it was born.
So if you give loving messages to the child, does the child? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, that's 100%. The whole idea is this. If you recognize you're programming a child, here's why we have a problem in this world today. And we'll come back to this real quickly, but I'll say, why do we have a problem? I'm going to give you a fact of recognition. And that is this: 80 to 90% of you, all of you, 80 to 90% will not test positive for the belief, I love myself. How come? And the answer is this: parents have taken the role on as coaches and coaching their baby to become what they want out of the baby. Now, if a player, let's say there's a sports team in high school or something, and the player's on the team, and the player isn't doing well, the coach doesn't go, "Oh, please do better." No, the coach, come on, that's not good enough. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve to be on this team. The older child is not in theta; they're in thinking, and they go, "Oh, I'm not performing well, and the coach is, trying to stick a needle in me. I'll do better." Okay. I say, now what if the parent acts as a coach and the child is under 7? I go, child has no meaning for what happened. Just record. And so the parent acts as a coach. That's not good enough. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve this. And I go, so what? I go, the child's not like the older child that says, oh, I'm going to work better. That's the intention the parent wants. That's what the parent's doing it. You're going to behave better because I'm criticizing you. And it goes,
Right.
nope. Why? The child's not thinking. It's recording. What did it record? Not lovable, not deserving, not
Mm.
good enough. I go, where are those recordings? I go, subconscious mind. I go, oh. I go, so why is that important? 95% of your life is going to come from those programs. We become self critical after our parents criticized us. And when you become self critical, you don't love yourself because you can think of all the reasons why. I don't deserve, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. And I said, where'd you get that? And I said, download. I said, when? Before age 7. And I go, well, why? It becomes important as we emphasize. Those are the programs that run 95% of the day. You self-sabotage because you become self-critical and then create a behavior that matches that. I'm not deserving. Oh, what behavior do you think you're going to manifest for I'm not deserving? One that gets you elevated in the job? I say, hell no. If your program is you're not deserving, then for people out there, just if you had to write something here, I would in this little box, here's the box. The function of the mind, both of them, is to create coherence between your program and your reality. And so what does that mean?
Okay.
I said,
Oh,
what if
say
I
that
have a
again. Yes,
program?
yes, yes. Say that again.
It's the most critical one because it's explaining something. The function of the mind
Uh-huh.
is to make coherence between whatever your program is and your life experience. I have a program. I'm not deserving. What's the function of the mind? Generate behavior so that my life experience reveals that I do not deserve. Oh, what if I have a program I'm not lovable? Then I go, then the behavior you're going to do is going to push away love because if someone loves you, that's that would be wrong in regard to making coherence with the program. The program says I'm not lovable. What's the outcome? Behavior will generate a situation where you will not be in love or you will lose love because why? The mind's going to take I'm not lovable and manifest it as your reality. And all of a sudden, this is why the
All of a
program
sudden, the experiences show up like that as
that,
well,
that
because that's what
and
you're
they're coming
creating.
without you seeing it. So you could so desperately want to be in love, and then when the subconscious is working, it's going to throw a monkey wrench into it because if your program is "I'm not lovable," then the behavior has to manifest a life experience to prove to you your program is right. I'm not lovable. Guess what? They're not here anymore. Must be I'm not lovable. Like, oh yeah, exactly. That's what the program was. And now this turns around, and this is the part that you brought up about parenting. I said, well, if I'm the parent and I am aware that my words and my behaviors are being downloaded by my child, then what do you think I should be behaving as? I say, the one who gives the most powerful programming to your child, the ones that we didn't get, like parent to child. Well, you're the smartest, most wonderful, beautiful child on this planet. You're so powerful. You can do anything. You are the creator. You can manifest what you want. I go, that was not my parent, folks.
Oh, oh, you're making me cry. This is so beautiful.
But the point about that is
And my niece is pregnant, so this
you
is
have to be a
totally
conscious
perfect.
parent. You have to be a conscious parent to be conscious of what you're manifesting to your child. Monkey wrench. I go, what? Well, you're only conscious 5% of the day. So guess what? You're going to pass on the programming that you got downloaded with when you were a child because you're going to be playing that program 95% of the day. Your child's going to be watching you. And guess what it's going to do? It's going to download your behavior. I downloaded my father's behavior. Yeah, crap behavior. I have crap behavior. Okay. I downloaded it. What? He
Right.
didn't know he was doing it. He didn't even know he was programming people. No parents really have caught on to the reality. You are manifesting the future for your
Oh,
child by telling the child what they are capable or not capable of doing. because your words are going to be the program that that child will operate from 95% of the day. Being aware of this is critical. Number one, it says, well, if I do have a child, I sure as heck got to say all the wonderful words about how loving and beautiful and how special this child is. But I have to watch out for my own problem. And I say, what's that? I'm only conscious of 5% of the day of being a conscious parent. 95% of the day, I'm going to play the exact programming that my parents put on me when I was that child. And this is why things are perpetuated through family lineage. When we used to think it was genetics that was connecting all this, we now know it's programming. Best example right now, a child is adopted into a family where cancer is running in that family. And I say, what's the consequence? I say, the adopted child was going to get the same family cancer, but the adopted child came from totally different genetics. What was the point? Cancer is not caused by a gene. Cancer is caused by programming. That's why it runs in families. It's not the gene that's being connected, it's the behavior that's being connected. And this is the point. The negative things that run through families. Oh, it's in my lineage. Oh, my father died young. My grandfather died young. I'm going to die young. I go, well, that's a programming. You better be careful of that because that is a program. And the point about all that is this program that Liz is sponsoring in Scottsdale, is so wonderful for this. It will bring to your conscious awareness the mechanisms of your life that your conscious mind isn't even aware of because you've been programmed. But, people are programmed. Oh, I'm a victim. I am programmed to be a victim. I go, how can you be the master and yet be the victim? Well, whatever the program says, is that what you become? And in the Scottsdale show, and especially through Greg and Anita and Shamini, there are many different approaches to say, well, wait, is your life matching your wishes and desires? That's the first question right there. Is it matching it? It was interesting, true story. When I started to understand the mechanisms of the biology and how consciousness is controlling the genes and all that stuff, I was so excited. I wanted to tell everybody because I said, oh my God, if you understand this information, you can create the most wonderful life. So I got excited and I brought people in a room and I said, I want to tell you how to create the most wonderful life. And then they started looking at me and they go, Lipton, your life doesn't look that good for a guy who says you know this stuff. And my words had no meaning. Why? They looked at me and go, well, if that intelligence is what you're using, I don't want Bruce's intelligence, and the point about it was a wake-up call. I realized I shouldn't be talking about this unless I actually do the processing, unless I'm actually walking the walk.
And that's what everybody, just so you know, everybody's asking like the same question. I'm looking at the comments. So everyone's asking the same question is someone said it, how do you delete the old program? Or how do you actually, hold on, where's the question? I don't want to get this right. It's basically, how does one change the program, Judith?
I'm not going to tell you. You have to go to Scottsdale. No, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you very briefly, though.
But everybody knows this.
Very
you
briefly.
know the answer, right?
Number one thing that's always fun for me is when I tell people, how are you changing this? Oh, I'm talking to myself. I'm going to say, don't do this or don't do that. And I'm going to talk to myself. And I talk to myself and I go, who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to the subconscious. And I go, that's the joke. There's nobody in the subconscious. It's a hard drive. There's nobody there. You could talk to your blue in the face. I say, you want to try it? Tell your computer you want to change something and just talk to it. And tell me what day it's going to change by just, hey, computer change. It's not going to change. Why? That's not how you access the hard drive. I go, aha. You want to access the hard drive, the subconscious. There are processes to do this. And if you don't push the button, it's not going to happen. So I say, well, then what are the processes? And there are 3 ways to change the programming that are natural right now. 3 ways. I don't know of any other way. So actually, there's a 4th way. Let me explain the 4th way because you have no control. The 4th way is a shock to your spirituality. I go, what does that mean? I say, you go to the doctor and all of a sudden you get a prognosis, you're going to die of cancer in a few months. It's like, oh, that shock can cause you to change your behavior right there on the spot. It's like, oh my God, I got to change my life. This isn't right. I got to change my life. But I can't tell you how to make a spiritual shock. That just happens. Okay. But the three other ones I can tell you. How do you make the programming? A, how did I get the programming in the first place? First 7 years, my brain was predominantly in theta, record, okay, hypnosis. I mentioned this a little while ago and didn't follow up, but now it's a follow-up, and that is this. When you're at work, your vibration is conscious, is focus, it's called beta. Then you come home and the vibration slows down. Now it's called alpha and it's calm. But the moment you close your eyes and you're done for the day, you disconnect. Consciousness is not there. Disconnected. It's sleeping. I go, but guess what? The next activity of the slowdown is called theta. And I say, well, theta is hypnosis. And I go, yeah. So I said, well, how can I do something? I say, you put earbuds or earphones on at night and you play a program that has your wishes and desires in it, what you want. And I go, you're sleeping. I go, yeah, that's the best part of this job. I say, how much effort do you have to do? I say, you have to go to sleep. I go, so why is that important? Because all you have to do is go to sleep. And this moment you go to sleep, the vibration of the brain starts to go down. It's in theta for a short time. And whatever is going to come through the programming, that will go download. It's just like it is hypnosis. You're back in hypnosis, but it's called self-hypnosis.
So
Okay.
you can make a recording. So let me just stay there 1 second. So we can make a recording. You guys all know how to make a recording. You can put music behind it if you want and say to yourself, Liz, you are like saying manifestations. Your business is wildly successful. You are in excellent shape. You have really strong biceps. Those type of things. Is that what you're talking about?
That is it. Now, there's one caveat in making that recording, and that is this. All of the statements have to be positive present tense. In
Okay,
other
can you
words,
explain?
let's say you're sick and I say, I want to be well. I go, well, that could be a program. I said, let's record that today because that's your new program. I want to be well, new program. I said, oh, let's come back next year. You know that? Let me see. What was your program? Let's hear it. Push the button. I want to be well. I go,
So would this be a good one? Mildred wrote, I am healthy, loved, peaceful. I am in charge of my life.
yep. It's all got to be positive present tense. It can't be I will, I shall, it happen. It's like because you're projecting future. And I go, you could be sick as a dog. And I say, yeah, but you still have to say, I am healthy. Why? What's the function of the mind? To create coherence between the program and the reality. At the current moment, you're sick.
Okay.
And I said, so what? And I said, new program. I am healthy. Oh, what do you think the mind's job is? Whoa, I got to fix this. We're healthy now. Okay. You can't say I will be healthy because the mind will say, okay, later. We'll do it later. I go, no, that's not now. So positive present tense, what you put up on the screen was a good example of that.
I am in a loving, beautiful
And you
relationship.
can put these into your own programming.
Tori.
I also have to admit, and I say this with a caveat, and that is this. You go online and look under subliminal programming or subliminal messaging. There are companies that make these programs for you, okay? My only concern is this. I don't know what your issues are. I don't know which program you're going to pick out. Will this program be good for you? I have no idea.
Right.
So it's a chance thing, and it might be pretty good, but I can't say, oh yeah, this is the program you should use because I don't know. Okay. But I do know this, if you make your own, and remember your phone is a recording device. So you can just pick up your phone and start to talk to yourself and then it could play repeat. So you don't have to, like give yourself an hour conversation. You can do a short thing and just put repeat. And that's really good because repetition is what facilitates the download. Okay. It doesn't have to be a long statement. We had a short statement right there. And you can just say very positive things that you want to be true in your life as if you got them right now. Not, I'm going to
Love
get them.
this.
And I say, well, that's how you got the program in the first 7 years you were in theta and you downloaded. Okay. This gives you an opportunity to do self hypnosis and download what you want instead of what you got from your parents, let's say, okay, or your family. That's number one. But then remember, that only works for the first 7 years, the hypnosis theta. I say, yeah, but after 7, you still learn something like how to drive a car. I go, well, how'd you learn how to drive a car? I go, you practiced, you repeated it. Aha, habituation. Do something in a repetitious manner. You want to play an instrument? You pick it up and you practice every day. And guess
Right.
what? There'll be a point after you practice it enough that you can pick up the instrument and then just play it without practicing. Why? You downloaded it now. So after age 7, you can reprogram by taking a new behavior and habituating it. Just keep replaying it. Just replay it and replay it. It's just like how you learned how to play an instrument, how you learn how to drive a car, how you learn to do anything that became a program. You did it because of habituation, repetition. Okay. Okay. I always say this because it's the humorous part in my mind is the fake it till you make it
You
story.
know something? That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Okay, so can I tell a 2-minute story? I'm going to tell a 2-minute story, you guys. So, because everybody's saying how long do you do it? How long do you do the repetition? So, there's been a few moments in my life when I've really, really, really practiced this, unknowingly practiced this, and had the result that Dr. Bruce is talking about. So and I want to get back to Dr. Bruce, but I just want to share this really quickly. So I struggled horribly, and Bruce, I don't know if you knew this, but I struggled horribly with relationships. I mean, if there was a dysfunctional partner out there, it was like moth to a flame to me. But I was the one that I was the common denominator.
Did I
With
go out with you? It sounds like we were on the same path.
I got it out you first. I mean, it was over and over and over again. And I had, a weird upbringing with 3 or 4 different parents and then was adopted. And it was just very mashugana. It was a lot of craziness. And when you say the first 7 years of life, I'm like, wow, okay. So at one point, and I was 40, I want to say I was 46, 47 at this point, I picked up the phone and I called a friend and I said, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. And he said to me, Liz, you have to make different conscious choices. You have to think differently, you have to feel differently, and you have to take different actions. And so I did this and I gave myself a year because I really, really, really wanted to be with a life partner. I'd never been married at that point. I'd never been in a serious relationship. I wanted to have a healthy, healthy relationship with a man that my soul was calling that. I still have a fantastic career, but man, that was missing. So I made that conscious choice over and over and over again, every single day. Every single day, I became cognizant of my thoughts. I even talked to that person in my mind. Like I even had conversations with him, like, this is what we're doing together. So I have to say, this works. This shit, because now I'm happily, where's a picture of my husband? I'm happily and beautifully married to an amazing man who I met on Match.com, who, like, we're just this beautiful match for each other. And so I did get married at I was just about 50, my first and only marriage. Right? So, but it works. That's the point.
I
Yeah.
know it works because I did exactly the same thing. Around 50 is when I rewrote the programs that my father offered in my download and changed it. I end up with my wonderful partner, Margaret, and not just being married to Margaret, 28 years of living a honeymoon. I go, what do you mean? I go, every time a bad behavior showed up in our relationship, which happens in all relationships, okay, they generally lead to an argument. Oh, you said this. And then the person who said it actually is going, I don't remember saying that. Why? Well, they were operating from automatic, so they don't even remember what the hell they were saying either, you know? And then, why'd you say that? And I go, what did I say? I didn't hear it. Why? It was automatic.
Yes.
That's when arguments start in a relationship. The moment these arguments start in a relationship, that's the end or ending of what is called the honeymoon phase. I go, what is the honeymoon phase? So you already know right now what you experienced it already. Almost everybody out there. I go, what was it? The honeymoon phase was your life was blah, 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 blah. You met somebody 24 hours later. Oh, life is so beautiful. Everything is wonderful. The food is great. Everything is great. I go, blah, blah, blah. 24 hours later, heaven on earth. What the hell happened? I love it because this is what we're talking about. Science has recognized when you fall in love, you stop thinking. What does that mean? I go, you stay present, you stay mindful. Why? You've been waiting for this person your whole life. Is this a time to think and let go and be in the conscious world out there? I go, hell no. This is time to be here. I say, so what happens? This is the greatest part. You stop thinking, meaning you stop playing programs. I said, then where's your life coming from? The creative mind. I said, what's that one? Wishes and desires. I said, so what the hell is the honeymoon? Two people not playing programs, living in the mindful state, are creating wishes and desires which are expressed as heaven on earth. And that's called the honeymoon. And then, of course, the issue is how come for most people this honeymoon is short lived? And I go, oh, well, at some point you're going to start thinking. You have a job, responsibilities, you have to do things, and you start thinking. And your partner who has never seen your programs because you never played the programs during the honeymoon, because
No, of
during the
course not.
honeymoon
Of course not.
you weren't thinking.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you're thinking, and all of a sudden the autopilot throws in the behavior and you don't see it. Margaret comes to me early on in the game. Oh, Bruce, blah, blah, blah. And I turn around and go, blah! And she looks at me and goes, who are you? And I'm going, what are you talking about?
Because you
Why?
jump into the
I
old
didn't
programming again.
I didn't hear what I said. She heard what I said and responded to what I said. And I'm going like, what? There's an argument brewing here. And as every one of those negative programs shows up one at a time, one at a time, one at a time, your partner looks at you and goes, okay, I accepted that one. I accept that. I'm not accepting this one. And all of a sudden I say, what does that mean? I say, the honeymoon is in a breaking stage. 50% of marriages fall apart, and they fall apart because they didn't resolve what happened to the honeymoon, why it disappeared, and why they ended up with the same old stupid regular life they had before, but now with a partner which may or may not want to stay. And I go, what happened? And the answer is this: life, 95% of the day, subconscious programming. Fall in love, 90+% of the day, no programming, total creativity. Oh, creativity. Let's have honeymoon and let's have heaven on earth. I go, yeah, that's called the honeymoon. And then the honeymoon disappears. I go, what happened to the honeymoon? You started thinking again. And then all of a sudden, behaviors that were never part of the relationship that you created the honeymoon with, my father's behavior would show up. And then my potential partner looked at me like, what the hell kind of behavior is that? And I said, what are you talking about? Why? Because I never saw myself play my father's behavior, but my partner did. And then all of a sudden, what did that do? Monkey wrench, honeymoon, boom, gone at some point.
This is
And I
so
say,
brilliant. So
but the
what?
beautiful part is this, the beautiful part, because now that I have all this stuff, and my partner Margaret also knew about subconscious programming, that when a negative program showed up, instead of an argument, there was an option to say, you want to change that program? I go, sure. I didn't even know I was doing it. Yeah, I'll change it. And using one of the two ways that I described so far, and the two ways, one was self-hypnosis. Number two, practicing a new behavior, faking it until I repeated it so much it did become a behavior. Or three, which is the one that's really exciting because it's called energy psychology. And I go, the hell is that? And I go, it creates a state called super learning. And super learning is what children have under age 7. I go, what do you mean? They just have to experience something one time. It's not part of their life forever. Just one experience. Boom, download it, got it.
Wow.
If you engage super learning, then you can rewrite a negative program in minutes and walk away a different person. And this is the critical part of we need to change our behavior as a whole civilization at this moment, because we are on a track for self-destruction. And NASA scientists have said that the current civilization, industrial civilization, is going to have an irreversible, emphasize, irreversible collapse within the next 20 years. You're facing it now. The world's in a state of chaos. Why? It's not sustainable. I go, why? It takes 1.6 planet Earths to provide for the needs of today's civilization. I go, wait, we don't have an extra 0.6 planet Earth. Ah, that's where the problem is coming from. We can't do this anymore. And that's why it's falling apart. We all have to change our behavior. And the behavior we've been programmed with civilization is a program. You were programmed to fit into your culture. And I say, yeah, but those programs are killing us. I go, yeah, that's basically why we're facing a collapse. And I say, so what are we going to do about it? I say, change your programming. Start to live in a different world, because the other one is collapsing. The one that you're so caught up in today's world, it's going bye-bye.
Yeah.
It's going away. Why? We can't continue. The earth can't support us. And so basically,
and we have to start changing, and it starts with us. I have to tell you, we were supposed to be here 30 minutes. It's an hour now.
oh, I'm sorry I held them there.
Don't be sorry. This is beautiful.
But I'll tell you what, we have,
I
and
love
especially
it.
with my friends Greg and Anita and Shamini, a whole several days of information to give you the opportunity to go from where you are. How about heaven on earth every day for the rest of your life? As I said, after rewriting the programs that took away that relationship, I've been on a honeymoon for 28 years, every day going, hey, I'm still here. Hey, life is great. Yep. No doctors. I'm friggin' 79 years old. The old coot. The old coot here. Got no doctor. No pharmaceutical drugs in my life. Why? Health is consciousness. Lack of health is, unfortunately, not good consciousness. And all of that can be changed. Cancer, as I said, for example, is not due to a gene. It's due to a lifestyle. That's a fact of science.
Wow.
And I go, so what's lifestyle? Programming? Oh, you were programmed to have cancer. Yep. You want to change cancer? Don't kill the cancer cells. That's not the first thing. Why? They're not the problem. They're the result of the problem.
The
You
mind
focused on killing the cancer cells. You never focused on what caused the cancer cell. Aha. Programming that's not in harmony with you. Same with every disease. 90% of all illness, fact of science, 90% or more of all illness on this planet actually has nothing to do with genes at all. It all has to do with programming and lifestyle. 90% of illness, actually, fact.
Wow.
Less than 1% of illness is actually connected to genetics. And yet, every way we want to treat illness is buy a drug, buy a chemical. And I say, what are you fixing? I say, the problem's below my neck here. I got a problem with this organ, this system, that system. Oh, take some drugs. I go, yeah, but the problem with the organs didn't start down here. The problem started up here.
Right.
And
We could do this for hours, because I have a gazillion questions, and I know we've got over 300 people here that you guys have a ton of questions, but we do need to close out for today. This is so beautiful and perfect. And you have just opened, I mean, even though I've done a lot of this work, this is, again, I find myself in that place of repetition of Uchi and this isn't right. And this is such a beautiful reminder of getting back clear and centered again. And thank you.
I just love the opportunity that you've given me, Liz, and I so appreciate the opportunity of the program that we're going to have in Scottsdale. I'm very appreciative of this, is because knowledge is power,
Yeah,
or let's say it the other way: a lack of knowledge is a lack of power.
there you go.
What you don't know has been disempowering you. And the effort that we have, the four of us coming together with Liz's guidance and supervision, the four of us
I'm
are
a good
going to
party
give you,
planner. I'm a really good party planner.
we want to give you the power back.
Yeah.
It's the knowledge that we're going to give you, because that knowledge, you've been misprogrammed so many things. The idea, even for example, that genes control your life, that's 100% false. That's 100% false. Genes don't control you. You control your genes. Now, we'll talk about that in Scottsdale.
Definitely. We're going to be having a really, really great time. 4 days. I've been posting the link. Come join us. And thank you all so much for joining us today. So enormously grateful. This was such a beautiful teaching. And Bruce, you stay right there just for a minute. And
Yes.
thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to close out the stream. Mwah! Thank you for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you the end of January. And go to this link if you want to learn more information. I just posted it again in the chat. Go to that link, learn more about the retreat we're doing in Scottsdale, Arizona on January 26th to 29th. You'll experience everything that Bruce is talking about. And thank you so much for being here. All right. Bye-bye.